Well, howdy, partners. Welcome to Hat Hole Home Video. You like this? You like the hat? No? Okay. We'll switch it back to a normal hat. This is my lawn mowing hat, by the way. Guess what, gang? Last week's VHS pickups video, I was kind of lamenting about how maybe the picks were not as exciting out there. It was simmering, but not really coming to a boil. And my oh my, did the VHS gods smile upon me. The VHS gods, they knelt down and with their magnetic strips of lips kissed me on the forehead because it has been a heck of a week. First of all, I did cruise and peruse eBay a little bit, and I found a good deal on something that I want to show you. I have been basically starting to keep an eye on these hard clamshell horror hammer collection VHS tapes. I just think they're cool. I'd been eyeing a couple up just because I wanted these specific movies to talk about on the channel, maybe do like a VHS Dreadful with them. And so I'd been keeping an eye out, and here was this auction of, I'll just show you. It is a four-pack Hammer Horror VHS collection in this slightly ratty but still very cool Hammer Horror little cardboard holder, whatever you want to call it. But I was very excited. A couple of these were the movies that I was actually most interested in looking for, specifically Reptile. But we'll look at them here. But what's cool is I was watching this auction, and it was this four-pack, but it was also something else. And the auction was just kind of a little too rich for my blood, the starting price. But I was keeping an eye on it. Look at that. Got a little Christopher Lee Rasputin. So yeah, I was watching this auction. It did not sell, and after it didn't sell, I sent the seller an offer, which was more in line with what I would be hoping to pay, and they accepted. So I was very, very excited. It was a price that I would have paid for just these four movies, to be honest with you. But it included an Alfred Hitchcock 10-movie VHS pack. Once again, in a slightly ratty but very cool cardboard holder for all of the tapes. It's kind of broken right here, but I think I can probably fix that. It's obviously not the Hitchcock home runs. It's not the Varsity Squad here, but it was still very cool as basically a bonus to the thing that I was most excited to buy. Sabotage, The Man Who Knew Too Much, The 39 Steps, The Lady Vanishes, Young and Innocent, Rich and Strange. I've never seen that one, so it's a great title. Murder, nice simple title. Secret Agent, Number 17, Juno and the Paycock. All right. So that was exciting to pick up, and the shipping was fast and free, super cool. But here's the thing. I was looking at this auction, however many mornings ago. It arrived really fast. I was sitting out in the parking lot of one of my favorite thrift shops, waiting for them to open. And I was looking at this stuff, and I'm looking at all these Hammer Horror collection tapes, and I'm getting kind of like that. That's kind of what's spiraling through my mind. I'm looking at it like, how many are there? I'm trying to get a bead on how big this collection would be if I wanted to complete this set. So the shop opens up, I go in, and what to my wondering eyes should appear? 2 Hammer Horror Collection clamshells. you can't, like, how crazy is that? I've never seen these out in the wild before. And now, literally minutes after purchasing some off of eBay, I walk into a place that I go all the time, a place that I've never seen these before, a place that honestly has not been real exciting for tapes recently. And here they are. 2 more additions to the collection. You've got The Satanic Rites of Dracula, starring Christopher Lee, because let's face it, most of the Hammer movies, I would say a majority of these have either Christopher Lee or Peter Cushing or both. Is it not focusing? I can't really see that far to the viewfinder. There we go. Looks like it's snapped in there. I do have this movie just with a regular paper sleeve, but that's awesome. And The Legend of the 7 Golden Vampires, which again I think has Peter Cushing, and I thought it had Christopher Lee, but it does not. It just has Peter Cushing in it. But this is like a sort of horror, sort of martial arts movie from the looks of it. It was another one that, again, I almost bought on eBay minutes before walking in to the thrift shop, and there it was. So, and I should say, if anybody hasn't seen, I forget, is this Anchor Bay that released them? They released these hard clamshells of the Evil Dead movies as well as some other things. But what I think is really neat about them is with the insert, the inside of the insert has like basically making of, behind the scenes kind of information, which I think, you know, in the days before special features, and, you know, I guess not necessarily before special features, but as a way of, you know, trying to include supplemental material, try to make new releases of these movies, you know, a little bit more of substance. They added that, you know, that inside of the insert stuff, which I think is super cool. Probably should keep the tape in the case, right? That was all awesome. That's all. We've gone from simmer to rolling boil at this point. But then something blew the lid off the pot. And I think you've been eyeing them up this whole time. I purposely staged them to intrigue you, to pull your eyes over. Yes, right next to these Hammer horror tapes was a stack of 80s wrestling tapes. AWA, the American Wrestling Association, I think is what the AWA stood for. I can't remember now. American Wrestling Association. Dang, my childhood memory is still mildly intact. Anything? Gonna focus? Okay. Most of you know I am from Minnesota. I grew up in Minnesota, born and raised. And the AWA was back in the 70s and 80s, I think maybe the 60s too. Heck, might have gone into the 50s. But the AWA was the Midwest territory for wrestling before WWE bought up everything. And it was based out of the Twin Cities, and I watched a lot of it as a kid. It was very exciting to have that sort of homegrown, like mega popular wrestling back in the day. Sergeant Slaughter and the Road Warriors and Vern Gagne and Jumpin' Jim Brunzell and Larry the Axe Hennig and Nick. Did Nick Bockwinkel? He was on one of these tapes, wasn't he? I swear I saw Nick Bockwinkel's name. We'll see. I swear he was on one of these tapes. But this is a huge part of my childhood too, just as much as the old Atari or the NES or, a lot of these old movies. Watching wrestling on the weekends was a huge deal. And I was a kid raised on the AWA, and then really didn't. I don't remember when I was. I do remember watching the WWF back in the day, but I feel like it was real spotty. It was just every once in a while. I was more AWA. Obviously, Baron von Raschke, who I have met Baron von Raschke, if you know who he is. I swear I saw Nick Bockwinkel's name. That's Scott Hall. Wow, this is a good one. The Road Warriors. Got Jimmy Garvin, Steve Regal, Kurt Hennig, Scott Hall, Sergeant Slaughter. But yeah, so walking in and finding these tapes, it's the focus, people. Walking in, after having hit up so many places recently, and having so many I guess this is kind of neat, I don't buy something just to buy something. Like, I'm perfectly fine walking out empty-handed, but man, when you hit those exciting things, and when it rains, it pours. It's definitely feast or famine out there. And I guess, to be fair, it was pandemic, that's how thrift stores are. You kind of forget, because it's been, for some of us, it's probably been a coming up on a year before, since you've been able to fully experience the thrift and the hunt. But yeah, this was huge. I was already excited just to have a couple things coming from eBay, but then to step into not a minefield, but a gold field, a gold mine field, if you will, was just wild. So that is going to be our VHS pickups for the week. I was very excited. Oh, I should show you too. I got a lot of toys too, and I'm going to save those for a separate video, but I want to just point out one thing. I went to Goodwill, and I got a mint condition Neelix. Still on the card, still beautiful and glorious. You never know what you're going to find at a Goodwill. I don't know where this came. I don't know who would donate this to a Goodwill. I don't know who would dump this off. Oh, by the way, I should say that too. All this stuff was from, I guess I won't say specifically where it's from, because maybe this would get the employee in trouble. I don't know. But when I was there, people are donating stuff. They're dropping stuff off. And somebody donated it was like a grocery bag, like a paper grocery bag, a brown paper bag. And it had an NES, all the cords, controllers, the gun. I think it had games in it, but they dropped it off, and the employee was like, and I happened to be back by I happened to be up front when this item was donated, and I happened to be towards the offices, because there's that corner, there's stuff that I look at, and I happened to be back by the offices when he came back to the manager, and he was like, could I buy he was like, I would like this. I would like to not have it go to the floor for our prices. I would like to buy it for some kind of employee price. And I'm pretty sure the manager was like, yeah, we'll work something out. We'll figure it out. But that was, once again, it's like, who just drops off an NES to like a thrift store? But part of me was like, oh, I would have loved to have bought that. But another part of me was like, I saw the joy in that employee's eyes, and I was very, very happy for him. I was very excited for him. That was very cool. To be fair, I do have an NES. If I saw him holding something in his hands that I didn't have, that I've wanted, if he was holding like a Sega Master System, oh boy, I would be green with envy. I would be, come on, dude. I mean, to be fair, the price that they would probably have put on it if they had put it out on the shelf or put it in a case, probably would have been a price that I was not looking to pay. So even so, I'm happy for you, bud. But yeah, that was super cool to see. These tapes are awesome. Thank you everybody so much for watching and hanging out and supporting the channel, doing our live streams, doing everything that we do here. Everybody has been so supportive and so surprisingly generous now that some of the monetization stuff is happening on the channel. It's weird to talk about. It's weird to like, it's weird. Money stuff is weird. It's weird. I'll just put it that way. It's a weird thing to process when people are like supporting you monetarily. It's weird and awkward, and I'm a stoic Midwestern introverted guy, so it's very uncomfortable for me to talk about. But thank you, everybody. However you choose to support the channel, however you choose to be a part of this community, it's all wonderful. So thank you, everybody. Just remember, as always, that whether you are a dirty dog sleeping in the sun or an alley rat eating up the night, you have always got a place to lay your weary head here at Hat Hole Home Video. Bye-bye, everybody.